It all started with a decision that, at the time, didn't feel like much. A simple yes to dinner after work. One evening. A quiet celebration with my boss after a project we had both worked hard to complete. That's all it was supposed to be. That's what I told myself, anyway. Looking back now, I see how that moment was the first crack in a foundation I thought was solid. I'm 32 now. My name is Julia, and I'm living with the consequences of a choice I can't undo. My husband, Caleb, was everything I thought I needed. Steady, composed, dependable. People admired him for how grounded he was. When we first met, I was drawn to that calmness. It felt like safety, like shelter from the storm I often carried inside me. I was impulsive, emotional, always chasing meaning in things. Caleb, in contrast, never wavered. He had this way of making the world feel still, secure. He trusted me without question. I never had to justify where I was going or who I was with. He never raised his voice or gave me a reason to fear judgment. At first, I was grateful. I felt free with him. But over time, that same freedom began to feel like invisibility. I started wondering if I still mattered to him, or if he was just used to me being there, like furniture. Reliable, present, unremarkable. I told myself I wasn't looking for drama. I didn't want to be with someone possessive or controlling. But I longed to feel chosen. Fought for, special. And when those thoughts started to brew, they mixed with resentment. Quiet, growing resentment. That's when Martin entered the picture. My boss. Charming, charismatic, sharp. He had a way of reading people and always saying the exact thing they wanted to hear. He'd been a little too flattering for a while, but I brushed it off. Until that one evening when he suggested we grab dinner, just the two of us. It wasn't professional, and I knew it. But I rationalized it. We had earned it. It was nothing. Just food, just talk. Caleb wouldn't care. In fact, he'd suggested dinner that same evening, completely unaware of my plans with Martin. When he asked if I was free, I lied. I said I had a work dinner with the whole team. Nothing important. I was hoping he'd push back, question it, ask who would be there, maybe even show a hint of jealousy. But instead, he smiled gently, kissed me and said, "Have fun, Jules." His tenderness only deepened my frustration. I couldn't explain it then, but it felt like I was invisible again. I wanted to see if he would fight for me. I didn't realize I was about to light a match I couldn't put out. Dinner with Martin wasn't scandalous. There was no affair, no kiss, no crossing the line. But it wasn't innocent either. There was something unspoken between us. A charged undercurrent that made the air feel heavier. I ignored it, or tried to. When I came home, Caleb was reading on the couch. He looked up and asked how dinner went, his voice calm, unreadable. I gave him a vague answer and avoided his gaze. Something in the air had changed. The days that followed were colder, quieter. Caleb didn't confront me. He didn't accuse. He just began to pull away. Subtle things vanished. His hand finding mine under the covers, the light in his eyes when he spoke to me. Until one night, he asked, "Did you go out with Martin alone?" No anger, just a quiet question delivered with heartbreaking clarity. I froze. Part of me wanted to lie again, but the exhaustion in his eyes stopped me. I whispered, "Yes, but it wasn't like that." He nodded once and left the room. That was the moment something inside him shut down. And despite all my attempts, cooking his favorite meals, trying to spark old habits, begging for closeness, nothing brought him back. He had closed a door, and I couldn't find a way to open it again. Weeks passed. One night, desperate, I asked, "Can we talk? I want to fix this." He looked at me, face calm, voice steady, and said, "I think we're done." I begged, pleaded. I asked how he could give up just like that. He said quietly, "You think this is sudden, but I've been trying for years to make you feel loved. And all this time, I felt like you were waiting for someone else." He left the next morning, and that's when the second fallout began. Martin, the man I thought had given me the attention I'd been starving for, changed. The charm faded. The compliments turned into hints. The praise came with unspoken demands. I started to feel trapped, dirty, used. When he crossed the line, I reported him to HR. But the whispers around the office didn't stop. The damage to my reputation was already done. Friends pulled away. Some judged me. Others looked at me like I had become someone they didn't recognize. My sister, never one to sugarcoat, said bitterly, "You always needed more. Well, now you got it." Caleb's parents, who had once embraced me like family, cut all contact. Silence replaced the warmth they'd once shown me. I was completely alone. For the first time in my life, I truly understood what that meant. I had tried to spark jealousy to test Caleb's love, but I never understood that his calm was the way he loved. His trust was his way of saying, "I believe in you," and I burned it all down trying to make him flinch. The very thing I thought I lacked, proof of love, had been there in every quiet moment, every patient smile, every time he let me be me without trying to fix or mold me. I was chasing something I didn't need. I mistook peace for indifference. I confused loyalty with passivity. I wanted fireworks, but it was the quiet flame that had kept me warm. Now the divorce is finalized. I left the job. I moved to a new place, far from the reminders. I've started therapy. I'm unpacking the patterns, the impulses, the reasons I equated chaos with passion and silence with neglect. Healing isn't linear. Some days feel manageable. Others wreck me. A song, a smell, a quiet moment, and I'm on the floor again. But I'm learning. I'm learning that love doesn't always shout. Sometimes it shows up as steady presence, as patience, as room to breathe. I had all of that, and I let it slip away for a moment that was never worth it. If I'm ever given another chance at love, I'll know better. To anyone out there who feels unseen, don't test someone who's never failed you. Don't chase validation from strangers when the one who truly sees you is standing right in front of you. Because sometimes it only takes one choice to lose everything. And not every story gets a second chapter.